The leaders of the Manosphere, the men that led a very real and impactful cultural rebellion against the progressive online status quo. And whilst many of their channels have fallen off in recent years, their impact on young men has been a lasting one. And I get it, frankly. This stuff speaks to something real. It's the only place that didn't gaslight you when you said life was hard or dating felt rigged. But like any powerful tool, if mishandled, it can blow up in your face. If you've been marinating in Manosphere content for years, quoting it like scripture, grinding away but not actually building anything real, then here's an actual red pill. You're getting trapped. You risk turning into a caricature, a jacked up fanboy with a fragile ego and zero receipts in real life. That's not alpha. That's arrested development in a tank top. It all starts because you are in fact in pain, and the only place that even pretends to give a shit is like the red pill manosphere. You know, whilst the rest of society rolls its eyes at like very condescending disapproval at you, every cringe subhuman liberal or leftist or progressive will throw buzzwords at you, tells you to like check your privilege or to stop complaining because you're in the patriarchy. You have a complaint about dating. You feel like some woman fucked you over. Incel. Why do you feel entitled to a woman's time anyway? Incel. Meanwhile, the red pill tells you actually what you needed to hear, which is, yeah, we get it, bro. Life sucks. You're not crazy. And if you're a white dude, then God help you. You're like the final boss of like people who no one's allowed to feel sorry for. At least someone like me, I can like cash in my minority card, like my colored card, and like get some sympathy. But you know, most guys, most men, you get nothing but blame and shame for daring to open your mouth about like any struggle really. Unless it's like a very, you know, sanitized, feminist-approved struggle. Like, oh, I'm struggling because of the toxic masculinity of my male friends, guys. That's the only struggle you're allowed to open up about. This creates a lot of shame, and it's a point that someone I really like, Dr. K or Healthy Gamer GG, like that guy, he's like a licensed psychiatrist or whatever, he makes this point a lot. When society tells you that you should be doing well, like, you know, patriarchy, white supremacy, whatever, and it tells you should be doing well, and you're not doing well, and you try and voice that you're not doing well, and they tell you to fuck off and shut up and turn around, we don't want to hear it. That just evokes a lot of shame. You feel like, shit, there's something intrinsically wrong with me because I should be doing well. Everyone's telling me that in this system I should be doing well, but I'm not. And apparently this is the dynamic seen with a lot of kids who have like learning difficulties like dyslexia or dyspraxia or that kind of thing, or ADHD, and they're like struggling to do well, struggling to focus and get grades. And they're told, oh, you should be doing well, you should be focusing and applying yourself and getting good grades. And if you just worked harder and focused harder, you would be doing well. They're not like told, okay, listen, you do have a disadvantage, there is something holding you back that's stopping you from doing as well as you possibly could, that other people don't have this struggle, if they're undiagnosed obviously, or if their parents don't believe in like ADHD or anything. So they're not told that, they're just shamed for not doing well because they should be doing well, and they're told that it's their fault that they can't apply themselves. And this for a child induces a lot of shame. And in fact, 70% of kids who have both ADHD and depression usually develop ADHD first, which leads to a lot of shame and then depression. And same thing happens here with guys who are struggling and having their struggles and complaints invalidated by the rest of society. Shame. It's funny because I know a lot of people watching this who are nodding along. I mean, nobody watches this, but if there were people watching this, I know a lot of the people watching this who are nodding along and, you know, agreeing with my takes about how, yeah, like men's problems are real and they're being invalidated by society, and yeah, and that is a problem. But those are the same people who probably also don't believe in ADHD or anything like that, and they think that it's part of the woke mind virus. Just something to think about. Anyway, back to where we were. So you find the red pill. It's the corner of the internet that meets you where you're at. Broken, confused, and rejected. And they say, hey bro, you're not crazy. We're all in this together. This sucks. And you are not alone. And for a moment it feels like this is the first time anyone's ever given a damn about what you're going through. And the validation feels really good, and you lean into it because for the first time someone is talking to you, and they're talking to you and not lecturing at you like some sort of fucking school principal. So while everywhere else tells you don't complain because that's actually a microaggression and your words are literally patriarchal white supremacist violence, it's like, bro, I said I got ghosted. I didn't say I want to repeal the 19th Amendment. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, the red pill guys, what do they say? They say, yes, life is hard. Dating feels kind of rigged. It's true. There are double standards. There is true. Society is full of double standards against men. And guess what? Why you are struggling, and it is a struggle, and guess what? It's because you're a loser. It's because you're ugly. It's because you're low value. That's what they say to you, right? And the worst part is, they're not even wrong, to be honest. But here's the bait and switch. They don't just insult you and bounce. They tell you, yeah, you're ugly, you're beta, you're this, you're that, you're low value. And here's how you fix it. Boom. Solutions. Someone is finally handing you a toolbox and not a fucking tissues and a TED talk. A lot of their solutions, gym, looks maxing, style advice and all that kind of stuff, grooming, that shit works and it will have a positive impact on your life for sure. And not just because it objectively makes you more attractive. That kind of change will take time as well, especially something like the gym. But remember that shame we talked about. You'll have a lot of shame when you're first getting into this. You'll see yourself as this really low value man when you're first kind of starting to take on this red pilled advice. And the immediate positive returns that you see from these baseline improvements looks maxing, gym, improving your style and whatever are gonna boost your confidence. That'll be the immediate positive return you'll see. So it won't just be oh, they'll make you more attractive, because that'll take time. That difference will take time. But you'll just feel more confident in yourself, and it'll help eradicate just a little bit of that shame that you're so full of. And an improved sense of confidence and an improved sense of self, that in itself will make you a little bit more attractive. And now you're hooked, right? The algorithm has got you, and this is how. So, because you're already dripping with internalized shame and self-hatred, right? So you watch one video of a red pill guy connecting with you, and the algorithm's like, aha! We found him. It's oh, you lingered, you stayed on that reel for an extra 3 seconds longer than you usually do. We got him. Let's pump his fucking feed and his For You page with more and more red pill shit. I think some apps literally they'll deny this, but they literally hack into your cameras and monitor your eye movements and your facial expressions to see how you reacted to a reel, so that they can fucking mess with your algorithm better, some Black Mirror shit. So the algorithm's greenlit to feed you more and more of this self-reinforcing, validating content. So you start to draw conclusions about the world and about dating and about women. Not from any personal experience or from any data, but from this echo chambered pipeline of self-reinforcing content of dude after dude, podcast after podcast, telling you the same stuff. Interview after interview of some fucking fished-lipped looking girl saying that she actually routinely likes to spit on guys who make under 500k on the weekends just for fun, So you keep confirming your own cognitive biases that you've gotten from this content and from this algorithm that you have. You binge that shit like it's Netflix. Next thing you know, you're dropping words like fucking SMV and hypergamy in real life conversations. And you're diagnosing every woman you see with a shit test or whatever. Here's the thing though. The cognitive biases and the conclusions you draw from all this stuff, they're only going to end up smacking you with more and more shame. So the initial confidence build-up and the initial relief of shame that you get from the good habits that they put you on, the gym and styling yourself and improving, that kind of stuff, that initial confidence gain is going to be completely nullified the further down you go, the further down the pipeline you go of the content. Just because they're going to end up smacking you with more shame. And you're going to be smacked with so much shame, you're going to get demotivated from going to the gym or doing any of the good habits that you were put on initially. Be honest, after watching a load of this shit, how often do you get up and actually do something productive? How often do you get up and take a step closer to actually being a high value man or whatever? When you get so far down the content pipeline, all you're going to get is more validated, righteous anger. Yeah, fuck these whores. Yeah, get 'em, Myron. Validated, righteous anger in between two slices of shame. And so you become chronically online. If you're watching the 34th video in a row telling you, actually, if you're not in the top 1% and making $1 million and you're a millionaire, then you're not high value enough. Most people are never going to make that much. just FYI. Or watching the 50th podcast of some Miami thought saying, actually, if you're a guy under 6 foot, you're actually not even human. And if your dick is under 8 inches, you might as well just kill yourself. Or the 17th video in a row of some guy being like, yeah, I actually fucked 10 women a day on this yacht. And if you can't get on my level, then you're a low value beta. Or like the fucking 30th podcast saying about how the Matrix is actually going to come and enslave us all. And the only way to get out of the Matrix and the woke mind virus is to actually become a billionaire, something 99.9999999% of people are never going to do. If this is all you're watching consistently, then of course you're going to get pummeled with so much shame and so much like feeling that you're not good enough. Like none of that content is good for the soul. And make no mistake, this is by design, because the more shame they pile on you, the more they make you feel shameful. The more desperate you're gonna get to actually go and fork over money to pay for their fucking $1,000 program. You're gonna fork over and pay extortionate amounts for their fucking scam trial or fucking scam programs or scam courses, you know, where they give the real solutions to becoming a high value man or whatever. So how to actually be an alpha male, because real alpha males, they don't watch red pill content. Don't put it on me. Here's a US licensed psychiatrist saying this.
So, you know, I think with one thing, so when someone has a low self-esteem, right? So if we look at like red pill appeals to people who are basically betas. The people who are true alphas or sigmas, like, don't engage in red pill content. And I know that that's a very contentious statement, but generally speaking, what I found is that the majority of people that I know in my life, and the patients that I've worked with, the clients that I've worked with, the friends that I have, you know, who would fit the criteria of alpha, consume or are not familiar with red pill content very much at all.
You know what real alpha males are doing while you're watching your 9th Fresh and Fit clip of the day? Literally anything else. They're unironically actually lifting heavy, building their bodies, building businesses, building friendships, that kind of thing. Learning about social connection and learning about how to be better friends, better partners, better husbands, etc., etc. Mentoring younger guys, smashing goals, not keyboards. The stuff all these red pill guys tell you to do, alpha males are actually doing. The difference is none of these alpha male guys doing this stuff in the real world have seen a single Fresh and Fit clip. In all seriousness, the way to actually become like what I'd like to call an alpha, whatever, like the term is cringe, but like I think we all kind of get what we're getting at. The way to actually get there is to get rid of that shame that we talked about that's been built up inside of you. Once you get rid of that shame, that's when you can actually kick on and grow from there to stop being like a low confidence, low value kind of man. As long as you have a low self-image and low confidence, you're never really going to be able to grow past that and build connections and build a life, because that shame and that lack of confidence you get bludgeoned with, people can smell that. They can smell it in your body language or whatever, and that's going to be a real turn off, and it's going to make you less attractive to everyone, men or women. If you're a red pillar, the number one way to get rid of the shame, you know what I'm going to say: log off, stop watching that content. Easier said than done, but yeah. It can be hard if you're in the middle of it right now, but honestly, if you just start the process of disengaging from social media altogether, it'll make your life's gonna undoubtedly improve. Check out my video that I made on like progressively, deloading your content consumption in general. So many gems in that video, if I do say so myself. But yeah, check that video out in order to get away from screens, spend less time online, and start experiencing real life again. So yeah, if you're a red pillar, just kind of disengaging and progressively deloading content consumption, that'll solve like 50% of the shame. I honestly think so. The second thing you can do to stop and kind of get rid of the shame is to honestly just spend a good bit of time focusing just on yourself. Kind of disappear in a way. Get rid of all dating apps. Don't even try and pursue or think about dating, or don't even try and ask anyone out, or just don't pursue women at all, or don't try and be popular or be social. Don't pursue people at all. Okay, so yeah, don't even try to be popular or socialize or do any of that stuff, because you're not ready, frankly. And remember, that's what causes shame in the first place, that puts you down the red pill rabbit hole. The pain, the rejection, the dismissiveness of society towards that pain and rejection. So don't go back and repeat that same cycle, because you're not ready. Like, quite frankly, you're still unattractive, you're still kind of ugly, you're still like kind of low objectively, like, you know what I mean, like low value, whatever, you will get rejected and you will continue the cycle of shame. So if there's an actionable step, it's like focus on yourself, stop thinking or pursuing any kind of social or dating kind of thing, delete all dating apps, get off that. And thirdly, whilst you're doing all that and focusing on yourself, you're also going really hard on your self-improvement. That's what the focusing on yourself is about. Really like self-improve. So gym, lifting, getting healthier, glowing up your style, your wardrobe, your grooming, your appearance, learning like body language and like that social skills and learning how to be smooth and stuff. All that stuff will make you more attractive and thus will objectively make your life better. But the growth in confidence, hence reduction of shame that you get from being in the gym and improving yourself and that kind of stuff, you know, when your shirt starts fitting better, when your sleeves start feeling tighter around your arms, when you can walk around in a haircut and a fit that you feel like 100% in, and you can walk with like swagger and style and confidence, when you can start taking better pics of yourself and sharing them on social media and that kind of thing, all that stuff which will improve your confidence, reduce the shame, and it will objectively make you better looking. Which obviously we said all this earlier, which is like what the red pill will push initially. And this is where we have to be careful. This is where we give like critical support to that red pill stuff, because it does tell you to do this stuff. They are right about it. The confidence you get from following their advice on this good shit gets nullified and bulldozed by all the shame and like self-loathing that they will bludgeon and put on you afterwards. The more you watch them, the more further down the content pipeline you go. So yeah, you should definitely like level up in like the red pill way, but just be very careful about going any further than that with it. Once you've kind of glowed up and improved, then overall it'll take around 6 months to a year. Then that's when you can start thinking about getting back out there. Start maybe going back on like some dating apps, maybe start like considering, you know, talking to people and going out and, you know, making more friends and making more like relationships, that kind of thing. Because now you might actually have some success. You can start going out there, and to be honest, once you feel more confident and you're more attractive, it'll just naturally happen that you're going to be out there amongst other people more. So, and it's just going to feel more natural and frictionless without it having to force it too much. Fourthly, and this is to really level up and start having successful, healthy, long-term relationships and friendships, start learning more about your traumas and learning how to heal them. You're not going to get any of this stuff from the red pill, because they're all going to be like, oh, yo, therapy's gay. Men talking about their feelings, bro, that's so gay. I guess start being more spiritual, you know, journaling practices, meditation, mindfulness practices, that kind of thing. I have a series that I just finished. I think it's like 4 or 5 videos. What truly makes us happy and what we think makes us happy, but doesn't actually. It'll be somewhere up here. You can find a lot of information about that kind of stuff in that series. Basically what I'm trying to say is real alpha males don't really have much time to sit there debating on Discord about, you know, female or male dating or mating strategies. They're out here living, winning, silently dominating. That's a joke. But yeah, they don't need a podcast to validate them. They are the podcast other guys pretend to be. Alpha isn't loud, it isn't bitter, it isn't angry, it is sharp, quiet, deliberate. So yeah, for any people still determined to keep watching Red Pill, look, think about it, you're not improving. You're binging. You're binging content that keeps telling you it's not your fault, bro, but also you're a piece of shit, bro. Feels good, huh? Just rage and repeat. You're not leveling up. You're getting dopamine hits from looking at strangers raging about modern women whilst you rot in your room. If you spent more time watching Red Pill content or Manosphere content this week than you have in the squat rack, newsflash, you're not the creator, you're the consumer. Spoiler alert, the guys that you're idolizing, they're selling you masculinity whilst you do none of the work. Real alpha males don't watch Red Pill content like it's gospel before bed every night. They're not following some internet blueprint to get to the top. They're creating their own blueprint. Look, maybe the Red Pill woke you up. It's good for that. Great. But if you're still stuck there, still stuck parroting clips and saying the same talking points, then congrats, you just found a fancier, long-winded way of staying a beta. Graduate, get off the content treadmill, try and be the guy that other guys try to copy. Let me know in the comments if you're still a beta or not. Goodbye.
The fear no beat up keeps going on.